So good afternoon all, and it is miserable today. I've already been soaked once, so I can't get any wetter than I am, but we're out on this. Now this is the Lexmoto Detroit, hey! And I have been itching to get a review out on this, so we're going to do it slightly backward on this review. So we're going to roll down to the park, we're going to have a look around, and then we're going to finish off the ride test. So I've been doing a little bit of the ride test on it, just to obviously get a feel of the bike before I do the review. So what we're going to do, we're going to wander down the park, we're going to have a full look around the bike, and we're going to show you some of the features on the bike and tell you what I think. Now, 9.4 horsepower. Somewhere in the screen will be all the spec on the bike, a couple of pages of spec on the bike. I'll leave that running up on the side just so you can get an eyeball of it and see, but it's 9.4 horsepower. They reckon this will do 65 mile an hour. It's got a 5-speed box, but the best bit is if you happen to be, and I'll say not a midget, but vertically challenged, the seat on this is only 720mm. Now, braking on it, what's it like? The back brake's not all that, you know, it'll stop you, but it's not as harsh as some of the brakes, and I don't want to be doing it on gravel, but we're just going to do it very quickly on this little bit of road. And back brake on, still going, yeah, but it is obviously on new pads once they're worn in a little bit. But the front brake on this is extremely aggressive. It's got a fantastic front brake on this, but I'm not going to be doing that on gravel either. I'll show you that when we get back out on the road. What's it like to actually ride? Do you know what? I'm in 2.9s at the moment. So, Michigan, it looks like the baby, it looks like Michigan has had it away with a Tempest. That's what I will say. Let's get the visor up and have a look around. Now we're running 2 cameras today, so we've got the drift going, we've got the GoPro going. Side stand is down there. It doesn't have a main stand. So, neutral, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly the same as the Michigan. Controls on this, it's got little yellow bits on it, so you've got indicators, horn, highlighted in yellow. Doesn't really set the bike off. I'd have preferred them in white, but each to their own. If you happen to like little bits of yellow and colour everywhere, okay, it's not a grower with me. So looking at the front end, emblazoned with the Detroit, it's got a bulb light there, bulb position, LED indicators with a bulb light. And why we didn't go with an LED, I do not know, but it's got a bulb front light, I suppose, to obviously make it look a little bit retro. Ignition is down here, and your steering lock is buried just up inside there, so you can turn it to the left and put your ignition lock and put your lock separate. The only thing is, obviously, you're going to put that on, sometimes you're going to forget you've got the steering lock on. Now from the side, I'm going to say Harley-esque. Yes, it looks like the 118's air covers there. So they've set it off with some air covers, but you can get to all the bits and pieces. So oil's down here, buried behind the cable. Brake fluid behind there, buried behind the box. So you've got to take this off to get into your brake fluid. Great. Rubbers are good on the pegs, and you obviously got decent chunky pillion. Stainless can. Recognise that stainless exhaust? Yeah, that is off the Tempest. So it is, it's half Michigan, half Tempest. You've got the bronzed, obviously, rear to that on the rear springs, disc brakes front and back, and you're running 90/90/18s on these. Look at the size of those tyres. So you've got a 90/90/18 on there, and down the back you've got a 140/90/15, but it's a big old fat back tyre on this one, so yeah, decent bit of road holding on that. Big old swing arm, and then obviously side covers. Now behind there you can see where I've been wiping it off with napkins to try and dry this off. Behind there is your battery, and then obviously you've got that low slung rear end, reflector to the top, finally. When you put an L plate on, you're not blocking the reflector, so the reflector's at the top. Now the only downside, if you swing your leg over, are you going to catch that and knock it off? Time will tell. Obviously I'm not going to go around the bike because it's a customer's bike, so I'm not going to show the reg plate on it. And then obviously to get down this side, decent size sprocket on it. Now the pegs on this, slightly forward from level. So I'd say you're about 3-4 inches forward, not as extreme as the Michigan. So it's half Michigan, sort of half road peg there. But they are very, very low. Will they scrape going around the corner? I do not want to find out. I'm not going to be doing it today. But let's climb aboard. So, as you can see, 32-inch leg, and I've got a good part of bent leg there, and the same down this side. So if I was to stand up, I've got at least 4 inches between myself and the seat. So if you happen to be height challenged, Detroit is good for you. Do like this pinstriping they've got around the tank. Do like that. Now these mirrors, the short stubby mirrors on these, oh god, what's going on? But it does the job. Yes, my shoulders are here, so if you're looking in the GoPro you can just about see my shoulder here, and just here if I move my body or move my head. But I can see why we didn't have a square mirror or a rectangular mirror out to the side just to set it off. But we've got these little round mirrors that are set inboard. Levers are very, very good. And it sounds like a Michigan as well. It doesn't sound as throaty as a Tempest, but it sounds like a Michigan. So that is something different. On the Speedo, you've got your miles an hour around the inside again, kilometres around the top. So basically 30 is 11, 12 o'clock or just short of it is 40, and then 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, as we always do. All your telltales are down here. In that little window, which is very hard to see, now that it's got a backlight on it, it's got a blue backlight on it, it's just about visible. But if you get at a certain angle, or change your movement, you can't see this window. But it's got 2.9 miles on. There's the fuel tank, just 2 to 3 bars. We've got 5 litres in it. Let's get the side stand up. So everybody's been screaming at me, what do you think of the Detroit? Have you ridden it? No, I haven't. It's a comfortable ride, but these bars do splay your arms out quite wide. That's the same as, not as bad as the Michigan, but it's obviously the angle of these bars and where my knees are. Now you can look down there. Let's see if I can just get himself in a straight line. Look down there, my knees are literally about halfway up the tank. So if I was a little bit longer in the leg, I'm going to be up here. A little bit shorter, it'll grip me. So if you happen to be a shorter rider, that'd be a good riding position. If you happen to be a little bit longer in the leg, I will let you know in about the next 5 miles what I think. Is it going to be a good ride, or is it going to be uncomfortable? And what's it ride like? Looks, you know, you can't beat this thing on looks. It does look very, very good. It does look like a little mini Harley bobber. But obviously I would say it's half Michigan, half Tempest. And there are a lot of bikes that are coming out onto the market, and Mutt have got something very, very similar to this, as have a couple of other bike brands. So it's not one of those bikes that's going to be seen around very often, and it does turn a few heads when you're obviously out. Now 4th, 5th, that with 9.2 or 9, I can't, lost what I was going to say now, 9.2 or 9.4 horsepower. It's not bad for a 125. Could do with a little bit more, but they reckon this is good to 65 mile an hour. The being is so low slung, and obviously with all that water about, there is a hell of a headwind on me. You can see it is moving me around, so you do get knocked about. It's very, very light, but obviously the spec on that shows you the weight. So if you don't roll the video back and look at the spec again, but what's it like? Oh god, big puddles. What's it like around the corners? It's not bad. That big fat back tyre though is going to give you a little bit more stability, which is great. And yet again you can smell that new paint burning off. That's just due to go out in a couple of days, and it's rained every day. I was going to go and try and take it out Sunday, no chance. Going to try and take it out Monday, no chance. Today I've got no option. How I be go out, get wet. So that is exactly what I am going to do today. Oh God. So nice and easy to see, 45 mile an hour, bang on 12 o'clock. I know exactly where I am just by looking at that needle. And I do hate the fact that they put the K's around the outside and the miles on the inside. You'd think they do it just in, obviously, just miles an hour for the British clocks, and then, but obviously you'll got to make a second set of clocks on these. So a lot of the bikes that are coming out of China do have the K's around the outside, for the simple reason being, woo, big gust of wind, and that did move me a bit. That one set of clocks will do all countries, especially the European market where everyone runs around in kilometres. Not going to rev bomb in the tunnel because it's pointless on a 125, but it sounds just like every other 125. There's nothing throaty about it. It just sounds like a 125. But this seat isn't bad. I'd say it's mid, semi-hard to firm, so it's quite a stiff seat. And everyone said, "Oh, give it over time, it will ease up." You know, hard seat will always loosen up. No, it won't. The foam is always going to be exactly the same. Same as suspension. Oh, you let the suspension wear in, it will get softer. No, suspension is suspension. It will do the same thing all the time. But the bar position does pull you forward a little bit, but it's handy having that gear indicator there as well. Normally I'm normally counting in my head, so I know exactly what gear I am in all the time. Right, I'm going to shift lanes, going over to here. It's just looking down, those yellow parts of the buttons just annoys the hell out of me. I'd be getting some white Tipex or some white paint out. It's like, oh God, who designed a yellow button? Honestly. But I suppose a high vis and ease of use, yes, you can see it in the dark, but you should know where your buttons are. But each to their own. I want to know your comments. What do you think of those yellow buttons? You know, but it's all minor little things. Now let's see what this front brake is like. Coming in on the front, oh God, yep, that is a really good brake. Right, we're away. So I'm going to go a little bit around town. I'm going to have a little bit of a few journeys around the roundabouts. Let's see what it's like. But that back brake, it is quite soft for a back brake. Very soft back brake. But it does stop you. It just takes a little bit of time. Obviously that might be because of the fact that I'm on new pads. So that could be the point. But for comfort, seat's good. Shoulder position, it just feels strange. It gives you a little bit of an ache on the shoulders because you're obviously leant in or bolt upright, and obviously when you do lean in, it's the angle of those bars. But it's comfortable enough. So, honest opinions, that's what it's all about. Now this is obviously personal choice. You've got to remember I'm 5'10", but I've got dirty great long legs. I've got a 32-inch long leg. You don't get many bikers that have got long legs unless of course they're BMW riders. That fuel gauge, I'm still having to move my head to see how many miles I've got, because obviously it's a light blue background to it, and in dull or overcast conditions it's a pain in the backside to see. I suppose at night it will light up a little bit more. Get a bit closer. 7.7. I'm having to lean in to see what it says, and I've got the new glasses on as well, so it's not that I can't see, it's the fact that it's just so dim. Whether you can change the brightness on that and up the brightness, I do not know. So let's be critical and give it the reach score. Rideability, a little bit hard on the shoulders, but the seat's comfortable. For the money, it's not bad, and it's got the looks as well. So rideability, I'm going to give it a 9. Affordability, do you know what, for a bike of this stature with this engine in it, because the Michigan and the Tempest engines are well renowned for reliability. Pothole, that suspension is darn good. I'm impressed. Decent suspension, thank Christ for that. So rideability 9, affordability, for the money it's a damn good buy. So affordability, yeah, I'll give it a 10. Economy, which I missed out, so rideability, economy, it's good, lots of miles to the gallon. I'll give that one a full 10. Rideability 9, economy 10, affordability, yeah, it's a good bike, 10. Comfort, I'm in 2 9s. It is comfortable to ride, but obviously with my long legs it's sitting me back a little bit to try and get my legs comfortable, and it's the same issue that I have with the LXS and also riding in Tempest. Dirty great long legs, can't cope with it. So comfort, personally I'm going to give it a 9. Obviously if you're a shorter rider you're going to love this, and the other guy that I've been chatting to that owns one of these absolutely loves it, but he's only 5'6", so he's a shorter rider, and he did say it is very comfortable when he's chucking it around the country lanes. So I'm going to give it a 9 for personal opinion. But obviously if you're a shorter rider, let's just wipe the lens on the GoPro quickly because it is chucking it down again. So comfort, let's give it a 9. Handling though, I can't fault the handling on this. That big tyre on the back, that's what you want, a little bit of confidence in your tyres. So full 10 on that. Handling, we're going to give it a 10. Would I buy one? For the looks, and just for the looks, yes I would. If it was the only bike in my stable, no. Personal choice, no. I like it. I think it's different. It looks like a little mini Harley. It's not a Harley price. It's very bobbery, sort of come cafe racer cruiser, you know. It's one of those Marmite bikes, you either love it or hate it. And like I say, this is my own personal opinion. Now, every bike is different that you ride. Some people like looking at them. Personally, I hate scooters. Now, I give scooters a very, very good review. Just for the simple fact is, they're so easy to ride. Come on, cars. Let's go. But it ain't bad. Yeah, 48 out of 50. There we go. But it's not a bad bike. It's just obviously my personal choice. It's not my thing. But it is very easy to ride. It is comfortable on the seat. If I was a little bit shorter, obviously my arms would be down here, and it wouldn't be so much of a strain on the shoulders. But nice. I love it. But it gets up to speed very quick. Yes, it does get up to speed very quick. Which is great. Scoot between the raindrops. But what a great bit of kit. We're going to do the loop one more time just to clock up this mileage, because I'm enjoying it. I'm having a blast on this, but it's just a little bit achy on the shoulders, me being so darn high. But if you happen to be a younger rider, now you've got to remember most young riders are going to be 16, 17. You're not going to be lanky old men like me. So this is going to suit you down to the ground. But obviously with all that extra horsepower and that low seat height, you're not going to go far wrong. So, Lexmoto Detroit, little Harley look-alike, and I keep calling it Harley look-alike. It's half Michigan, half Tempest, with those little Harley look-alike side vent covers for the engine, but it is very, very much of a head turner. That black paintwork with obviously the orange and the silver stripe sets it off. Yeah, this is a fun bike. So we're going to head back to the garage. I'm going to dry off. I've got a few more bikes to ride. Oh lovely. I'm going to get very, very wet again. So is life when you're a bike rider. So let me know your opinions on the Detroit. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this one to see what I think of it. It's an okay bike. It's like that Gopro. It's chucking it down. Oh, wet I be. I couldn't have picked a better day, could I? But it's a great little bike. It does the job. It turns heads. It will impress your friends if you're a young biker. And as a first bike, it's going to do you proud. It's got a decent, reliable engine. It's got some decent rubber. It's got some decent tyres. Front brake's good. Back brake will obviously wear in a little bit, and probably with a bit more foot pressure, it'll be all right. But just a couple of niggles from me, and there's nothing like being honest and yes, the backlight on that clock isn't all that. Don't like those yellow buttons. Not my cup of tea. Let's go 30 miles an hour. There we go. So just a couple of niggles, and they're just minor aesthetics, but when you consider it's two wheels, brakes and an engine, the main parts of this bike are pretty darn good. So yeah, it's a good bike from Lexmoto. It goes through the box quick, it's lovely, it does the job. So, let me know in the comments below anyway. See what you think. Is it the bike for you? As always, like, subscribe, comment, share. Don't forget, follow a list of bikers in the description down below. All the biker buddies are down there. And of course, don't forget, if you happen to be on the lives this week, Wednesday night midweek mumble with the Peaky Biker, and come over and support him and his ride, which isn't very far off. Scotty's Little Soldiers ride. He's going to ride all the coast roads of the UK. Where are we going? And of course, my Friday night live stream. But whatever you're doing, have yourself a good day. Have a great week. Be well. Ride safe. And from RB on the Lexmoto Detroit, it's a big goodbye from me.